All right. Hello, everyone. This is Laura Williamson, and this is Bear Speak. Welcome. It's nice to have you here. I am your host. I am a personal trainer, a Pilates instructor. I am a Reiki practitioner, nutrition consultant. I'm trying to remember if I missed anything. I think that's it for now. But at any rate, we're here today. No longer are we in the TV studio. We are now doing a podcast. We're sitting right here and live for you. You can still see us. It's just in a smaller, cozier space. But we have an awesome guest with us today. Oh, and we're no longer Bear Speak also. We're Bear Speak, and we used to be Bear Fitness. I'll say it again. We are Bear Speak, and we used to be Bear Fitness, so you don't confuse the two. So when you get ready to look for us, you know how to find us, all right? Again, Edith Block is going to be our guest today. She is a therapist, and she's got some good stuff, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of things today. So you want to stay tuned. And, yeah, Edith, hi.
Hi.
Welcome. It's nice to have you today.
Thanks so much, Laura. It's nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, can you tell us and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Edith Block. I live here in Wakefield, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't always live in the United States, though. I was actually born in England
Okay.
and lived there for the first 10 years of my life.
Wow.
And then moved here when I was 10 and grew up in Natick, went to Natick High.
Okay.
I
I dated a guy from Natick, by the way.
Oh, maybe I know him.
Yeah, I know. We might need to talk about that.
maybe off camera. Yeah.
Okay. Stay focused.
Okay,
Edith.
sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but yes, please
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, I'm a therapist. I have a small private practice.
Mhm.
That I started in the pandemic, so I'm still virtual.
Mhm.
I don't have any brick and mortar,
Mhm.
but yeah, I see all my clients over the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
it seemed that the internet was easy and a safe space for a lot of people
Yeah.
during a pandemic. But
That's right.
post-pandemic, it seems to still be
Yeah.
holding pretty
Yeah.
strong for people. I see.
I think so. Yeah, I do get some. Some folks say, "Do you have an office?" And I don't, so
Okay.
I'm obviously not their therapist.
Okay.
But during the pandemic, obviously everyone was virtual,
Mhm.
and that sort of opened up a door specifically for this industry, for therapy, to be virtual. And yeah, I mean, I think there's it still makes it sometimes easier for folks to meet virtually. I think they can meet me on their lunch break, or they're working from home, so they can log in. They don't have to drive anywhere, park somewhere, and therapy is really an hour then versus maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to get somewhere and park.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that makes it much easier.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what type of therapist are you? What do you specialize in?
Yeah. So I do work with individuals, adults,
Mm-hmm.
mostly women, but I also work with men, sort of ages 25 and up,
Okay.
going through transitions in life, first jobs, second jobs, back to school, getting into relationships, all the major changes that we experience as we grow up.
Okay.
Um,
Men.
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never. I have to say, and I apologize if for not knowing.
yeah.
I haven't had a therapist necessarily say, "Well, I specialize in helping men transition in life."
Hmm.
Is that new? Is that something different? Something you specialize in? Could you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about that?
I think across the board, it's men and women.
Okay.
Everyone has new experiences that they're working through. So my actual specialty, I would say, is with couples, but I do still see probably about a quarter or a third of my practice is individuals.
Okay.
But my passion is my individual clients,
Okay.
and my specialty, I would say, is with couples.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been a therapist?
18 plus years, about 18 years. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I've done it in like different iterations. When I first graduated with a master's, I worked with in-home therapy, which is working with sort of at-risk youth
Mhm.
and families trying to keep families together versus go to programs or even incarceration.
Okay.
So trying to keep the family unit together. So that was like the first, first sort of decade of my life, of my career. And then I started working in a private practice in Medford, and at that point was working with some high conflict divorcing couples and their families. So, yeah. And then in 2021, I started my own practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I have two questions for
Sure.
you. Now, did I read somewhere here that you were a social worker?
I am a social worker,
You
yeah.
are a
I
social
am.
worker.
I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker.
Okay,
yeah.
you
That's
are.
That's the license I carry, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. What made you decide to get into this industry or this field?
Yeah, okay, that's a really good question. I think, okay, so I'll start with saying I think this profession probably chose me versus I chose it.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that I think, I think folks in the helping industry tend to have a reason why they want to help other people. Yeah, as I mentioned, I moved from London to the U.S. At age 10, which is a significant change for
Right.
anyone.
I can imagine.
Part of that also was I moved here with my mom, stepdad, and brother, and my dad stayed in England. So there was some stuff. The first counselor I saw was right when I first moved here.
Okay.
In school. So I think that probably leads to some of why I chose this profession. When I started undergrad, I thought I'd be a teacher, and I think that came from, spending much of my teen years babysitting for neighborhood kids and that kind of stuff. So that sort of, I thought I wanted to work with children and adolescents. And as I got further into the field, I realized that was not my passion.
Okay.
But yeah, so my first, in undergrad, my first major was education. And then I decided to change it. I don't know exactly why. I can't quite remember. And I changed it to social work. And so I got a bachelor's in social work.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at what point did you officially decide, I want to work with couples, I want to work with families, I think this is the direction I
Yeah.
should go in. It feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Can you recall about when that happened for you?
I can't recall an exact moment. What I can think about is that as a child of divorced family, divorced parents, and, separated family in different areas of the world, I think there's a big part of me that wants to save other families. And I think when I was working with kids in the other private practice, I did some child therapy. I noticed that a lot of the work that I needed to do was with the parents.
Okay.
So I thought, well, that's a trickle down method that actually works, right? That you work with parents, then they can help their kids.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if there was an exact. Here's the moment that I can recall, but I think there are a lot of factors that led to it.
Out of curiosity, how affected would you say the children are, or you were, when you have parents who are divorced?
Yeah.
And when I say affected, I don't want to use the word traumatized, so I'm going to say affected.
Sure,
Only
sure.
because I know that it's going to range child to child, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah. I think kids can be very affected.
Okay.
On the other hand, I will say this, kids can also be affected by parents who maybe would be better off not together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
fair.
yeah. So I mean, best case scenario, if a couple are getting divorced, they're either working with a therapist or some other source to really make sure that the kids are affected in the least traumatic way.
Okay. Okay. Wow, there's so much here. I haven't had reason to think of it that way. But to think of it that way, it puts a different spin on it, to be honest with you. I have never heard anyone say, sometimes, it's difficult for a child when parents separate, but it's also difficult for them when they stay together. That conversation doesn't come up very often. Okay.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, we're not going to talk a lot about this because I think this is a huge topic and probably for another day.
Sure.
I would like to focus on couples today, so probably more on the divorcees than anything else. So I'm going to put a pin in that,
Okay.
and that might have to be saved for another day because it's very interesting that you say that. And all that being said, what I'll also say to you is, at what point did you say, you know what, we should really look at the couples here and how we can help them so that they can help their kids, but so they can help themselves? Because if the parents aren't in I don't want to say a good way, I hate to, because I feel like that's judgment, then it's going to make it very difficult for them to, if they need to help themselves, they need to also help their loved ones, and that can make it challenging. So why the couples?
Yeah. It's a good question, and I think my family of origin is a big factor. Also, so when I worked with at-risk youth and children, the amount of work was with the parents of how to, manage their emotions so that they can help their kids manage emotions, right? So that sort of, that's a piece that I think feels relevant to this question. And then when I worked with highly conflicting divorces and the children, seeing the impact on the kids of parents who have decided to divorce and doing it with heavy use of court systems and adversaries,
Right.
Making it more of a fight than we want to come together and divorce, right? In a way that's palatable for the kids. So I think that at different stages in my life, it sort of led to when I did decide that I was going to have this as a specialty. I think a more recent example that I haven't mentioned yet, during the pandemic, obviously a lot of people needed help and a lot of people were seeking couples therapy, and seeing how impactful being home in my own relationship within four walls, as well as seeing how different families were trying to navigate this the best of their ability. Giving support to the parents really does help the whole family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back up a little bit
Okay.
because I noticed that you moved back to London at some point.
I
You live
did.
with your dad.
I did, yeah.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
prompted that change?
Yeah. So I had done undergrad over here. I went to Westfield State, got a bachelor's in social work. And then I was living in Framingham. I was doing I was working with adults with autism, and, working at a restaurant for extra income, and wanted to go back to grad school. And my dad, who you've met,
Yes.
and he loves
Lovely.
you.
Yeah,
he loves
yeah.
you.
I ditto.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
FYI.
yeah. He does ask about you when I talk to him.
He is pretty awesome, I must admit.
Yeah. So he said, if you want to go to grad school over here, and so he and my mom separated when I was newly born. So, I primarily lived with my mom, and then dad weekends and school holidays, and then we moved over here. So we stayed in contact, obviously. But when he offered that, I was like, yeah, why not? Let me go over there. It's significantly cheaper to get educated outside of the U.S.
Yes.
But I wanted some time with my dad. He's he's my bud.
I love it.
Yeah.
And FYI, guys, her dad is pretty awesome. I have to admit, he's pretty open-minded. He's pretty, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
He has a nice way about him.
Mhm.
He has a really nice, a lovely energy about him.
Yeah.
I have to admit.
Yeah.
Very calming in some way.
Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah.
so now fast forward. We graduated. We have our
Yeah.
master's degree.
Yeah.
We decided to come back to the U.S.
I got my master's degree in psychodynamic counseling for children and adolescents, so still on the path of working with kids.
That's right.
So decided to come back, or my green card stuff
Okay.
had to come back,
Okay.
so as not to lose my green card over here, because I was still a British citizen
Okay.
and green card holder over here, so I had to come back.
Okay. Understood.
But then stayed, right? I made a decision to stay for a number of different reasons.
Okay.
Started working in the industry, liking my job, reconnecting with friends that I had before I moved over to the UK. And then I got to a point in my career working in the in-home family therapy, and I got promoted and was like a regional supervisor, and but had reached a point. The higher you go, the less interaction you have with with the clients.
That's
right.
right.
This
That's
is
correct.
a business owner.
That's right.
So I decided to go back to grad school again.
Okay.
And went to Salem State.
Okay.
And got a master's in social work.
Okay.
So while my master's from the UK, it was recognized here, there was no path to a licensure.
Okay.
So I had to do another master's to get a license. And the license is necessary to practice independently.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
So-
just said a lot.
So now, no, but
Yeah.
you clarified, because I'm going to fast forward now.
Yeah.
So we know you did all the things. We know a little bit about you. So now we got to get into couples.
Couples, let's
We
do
need
it.
we need
yeah.
to now we got to dig in.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
what are some of the biggest complaints you
Ah,
have
okay.
between couples?
Between couples, okay.
Some of the biggest.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because pretty much every couple I ask what would make this successful is we need help with communicating. That is the biggest
I
thing.
got to move things around right now. Okay. What kind of communicating?
Well, it's funny because if you actually think about it, well, maybe not if you think about it, but so communication is very surface level,
Right.
right? You and I are communicating right now.
That's right.
Our bodies and our minds are doing lots of stuff as we communicate. When you're in a romantic relationship or any other relationship, really, what gets in the way of communicating is one's nervous system.
Okay.
It's so not to get too like brain oriented, but when we're children, we create defense mechanisms as a way to survive.
Okay.
And those defense mechanisms, when we're in very close relationship with somebody, they rear their ugly heads. And it's those defense mechanisms that move people away and make it hard to communicate. You can imagine, like, when you're arguing with
Right.
a loved one.
And the 10-year-old shows up?
The 10-year-old
Sorry.
shows up. Absolutely.
Sorry.
You
I
are
had to go there
absolutely
for a
right.
minute.
You're
I'm
absolutely
like-
right. No. You're absolutely right. And relational life therapy, you and I have talked a little bit about this. This is Terrence Real. This is
Yes.
Yeah.
Terry. Yeah.
And so he calls that the adaptive child.
Okay.
So when you're in what he calls adaptive child, what you just referred to as your 10-year-old self, you're responding from a place of unsafety.
Okay.
So, you can depending on your makeup, you're either in fight, flight, or fix,
Okay.
or fawn. Right? They keep adding them. So if you're a fighter, you imagine what your communication looks like.
Yeah.
If you're fight, flight, if you're a flighter, if you're flighting, you're like shut down and your partner can't get through to you. So just to add to this, the most common in heterosexual couples, the most common dynamic we see is a pursuer and an avoider.
Okay.
And if you think about that in like attachment theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the anxious attachment and the avoidant attachment.
Okay.
And so those are the most common dynamic that you get. Oftentimes, not always, oftentimes it's the female that is the pursuer, and oftentimes it's the male that's the avoider. Not always. That's not always the case. But that pattern, if you can imagine that playing out, can cause a lot of pain. And while it's about communication, it's about knowing what's going on in your body, where that comes from in the past, why you present that way, so that you can change the script.
Okay. So so what's your approach? When you're working with clients, where do you start?
Where do I start? I start with, well, I think one of the things that I had to unlearn from when I worked for the agencies that did in-home family therapy, the outcome was my responsibility.
Okay.
So I've had to unlearn that. The outcome of a couple is not my responsibility. It's their responsibility.
Okay.
So the reason I say that is because your question, I go into it without an agenda.
Okay.
I go into it with how's this gonna be successful for you? What would things look like? You know, the magic wand question. If I had a magic wand, and you woke up tomorrow, what would be different? And I want to see what would be different. I want them to say what would be different. Effectively, that's them setting their own goals.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my approach in terms of, first session is what would this look like if it were a success?
All right. So communication is the biggest one. What's the next biggest one amongst couples? Challenge, that is.
Mental load.
What do you mean by mental load?
So mental load is the person in the couple that, and I'm going to choose a heterosexual couple that has children to talk about.
Okay.
It's the person in the couple that has the Christmas or holiday presents in mind, that does the shopping, meal prepping, packing lunches, snacks, that has all of the stuff, all of the annual, monthly, weekly, daily tasks on their plate.
Okay.
And what we do see now more is that there is a more equal distribution of household tasks.
Okay.
We do see that more now. And there's usually still the person in the couple that has those tasks in their head and maybe delegates them more. So that's a snapshot of mental load.
Okay.
Can you guess, generally in a heterosexual couple, which party has that going on?
Usually the one that when the woman has the dates and the,
You got it. Yeah.
because she's got to be mindful of getting the kids to the school,
Yeah.
or if they have
Yeah.
activities that they need to get to,
Yeah.
and usually dad is working whatever number of hours,
Yeah.
but it's mom who's delegating, like, I got the schedule up and I need, and I only know
Yeah.
that because of the people I work with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
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 Okay.
I think we serve some of the same population there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the only reason why I say it, not because men
Yeah.
can't be in a similar situation.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and them scheduling themselves to try and get in to see me,
Mm-hmm.
I also recognize that, like, I have to do this before I get to you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
now, we touched on the women a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm going to go to the men for a minute. I got to come back to the
Yeah.
men again.
Yeah.
So, as a woman, I already know one or two things that we wish we could kind of work on and could be a little different. I'm not going to say better, but a little different based on whatever our needs are, or our mindset is. Now, the men. Do the men have any complaints? Because I don't think they complain about anything, do they? It's just us complaining most of the time. Would you say that?
So if you,
I know that's not a
if
fair
we-
statement, but.
if we think about this pursuer withdrawer sort of dynamic, a lot of what I hear from men is stop nagging me.
Okay.
Right.
They still
Stop-
use the N-word, nagging?
Nagging still comes up, or
Okay.
stop criticizing me, or
That one.
yeah. whatever I do is not good enough. And I asked my husband if I could use some examples, and he said yes. So I'm gonna
Okay.
take some creative liberty with that.
Okay, awesome.
In unsurprising in our dynamic, I'm the pursuer, he's the withdrawer.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this other dynamic to it that that even if he does everything his way and his way is fine, there's a part of me that's like, but why don't you do it my way?
Mm-hmm.
My way's better.
Mm-hmm.
My way's the right way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that can get tiresome.
Right.
Then if I do that, and when I do that sometimes, and I am much more aware of it now,
Mm-hmm.
I see him move further and further away. He
Mhm.
withdraws more. So it's not about one person in a couple making changes. It's about both people in the couple making changes. Does that make sense?
But how many women are out there sitting right now thinking to themselves, yeah, but he does it wrong all the time. He just doesn't get it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So-
I guess the question to that would be, who says what's right and what's wrong?
Okay.
That's sort of that's when we get into this other dynamic of who's the who's what's the power dynamic?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the more
Mm-hmm.
superior one in the relationship, and who's the one who's more filled with shame?
Okay. Oh, shame. Okay, so now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to ask for, because I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
But what are some examples of this happening? Like, what does it
Yeah.
look like when
Yeah.
when it shows up?
Yes.
What's an idea or
the,
two? If
the
you can-
dishwasher. It's always about the dishwasher.
It's always, okay. What
and,
happens with the dish?
If any of my clients saw this, they would laugh because they say you always use that. You
Yeah.
always use that as an example. You load the dishwasher wrong.
Okay.
There actually, I did look this up. There actually is technically a right way to load a dishwasher, but that's
Is there?
beside the point. That is beside the point.
I didn't know that there was.
There technically is.
Okay.
But if he's putting dishes in the dishwasher and running the dishwasher and emptying it and putting them away, even if he puts a cup over here when I want the cups over there, that's a stupid example. He doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if he puts a big spoon in the little spoon section, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Why that becomes about control. Why is my way the right way?
Okay.
And it's about letting go of some of that control.
Okay. So that being said, because as a woman, I'm going to default to, but we always need to be right. I know that's not true.
Yeah.
It's a generalization. I know it's very gross, but I'm going to
Yeah.
throw it out. So woman to woman,
Yeah.
what I will ask you then is,
Yeah.
as a woman who's the pursuer, is there something we probably need to work on
Absolutely.
ourselves? I mean,
Absolutely.
you say control,
Yes.
but
Yes.
what are some
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Top three, because I know it's
Yeah.
easy to go, oh, these men, you know what they
Yeah.
did, and the
Yeah.
thing and the thing.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
I want to put it all out there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave anybody out today.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and Terrence Real would say the answer to who's right and who's wrong is who cares. Because
Okay.
it's not a relational.
yeah.
It's not relational. I'm right means you're wrong. I'm winning means you're losing.
Okay.
And that's not a pretty dynamic.
Okay.
In romantic relationships, that's not a good dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But so that would be one answer to it. But to your point, like, do women need to, in this conversation we're having, women need to do some work too.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. So back when I was doing in-home family therapy stuff, I think the research suggested for every one negative thing you say to a child, a partner, a parent, a sibling, whatever, a friend, you have to counterbalance that with 10 positive
Wow.
to make it even. The research now suggests for every one negative, you have to have 20 positive. To, like, relationships are like a bank account, right? You need to make deposits so that you can make withdrawals. It's transactional in ways. So if I go home and nag my loving husband once, I gotta say some positive stuff to counterbalance that. So that, like, it doesn't matter if the dishwasher is loaded in a specific way. The dishes are getting done, they're clean, right? Does that make sense?
No, that makes but what I'm also hearing is pretty much, I don't want to say all the time, this is going to sound awful, but it feels like whatever's happening, it sounds like your words need to be coming from a loving place in general all the time.
Absolutely.
It's not just some of the time like, ooh, I just know I just nagged him or I said something not so cool or something he didn't care for.
Yeah.
So now I got to count. Let me see. I'm going to get 5 in the morning. I'm going to do 10 around lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Absolutely,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so in my mind, the way I'm interpreting it is, well, your words should be coming from a loving place in the first place.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming from a place of nagging or controlling or however you want to look at it, and there's obviously work that I need to do in the first place, not to say that he isn't doing things that aren't annoying, but I'm with you, like, okay, so let's say the dishes are in there dirty, and they're in the wrong place. The cup is where the plate should be, the plate is where the spoon should be, I don't know. But in my mind, I think, oh, thank God he put something in the dishwasher and turned it on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that's where I am. I don't care about the dishwasher.
Yeah.
However, but that's also what I'm thinking about too. Like, okay, geez, if I'm in that space in the first place, or if it's even hard for me to come from a loving place, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? Even if you don't agree.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. And I think, all relationships go through, maybe on a daily, weekly, monthly, annually basis, they go through periods of harmony, where we're good. We don't have to think about the 20-1 type thing. Disharmony, where we're arguing, and arguing is actually a good thing. It can be a good thing, right? And the repair, that's vital. So using this dishwasher example, and I've belabored it to a silly point, but, if I say, can you put the gosh darn cup in the right place, I then have to make a repair. And that is vital. And I think a lot of times when couples get into this almost like standoff, they don't want to make a repair. Making a repair is vulnerable. You need to come down to make a repair. To make an apology, to receive an apology, you have to be open to that. And that's vulnerable and that's scary.
Okay. But that's hard. And most people don't want to be vulnerable because, again, we circle back around. They don't want to be wrong. They want to win. Even they'll say, oh, it's not about winning, but they want it to win, right? If we really peel the layers back
Absolutely.
and look at it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
So how does one practice that or learn how to do it? Because that's scary, right?
Yeah.
That means I'm not tough. I'm not strong. That opens you up for who knows what next time around of maybe, and I'm going extreme, right? Taking advantage. I mean, and just to be clear, I am married, right? So I understand what you're saying because my husband and I, we've had our disagreements. We have our disagreements. We had one the other day.
Yeah.
So, but that means like, geez, I'm raw, I'm open.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to come.
Yeah.
Right? So now we got safety, we got trust, we got a couple of things going.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does one work with that?
Well, I think in so many ways, right? I think recognition, first and foremost, recognition that being in any relationship, not even just romantic, but being in any relationship, there is vulnerability. In order to meet new people, you and I met, a couple years ago, and in order to meet new people, you have to be open. You have to have an open heart.
Right.
And so there's another word for this pursuer, avoider. There's another word for avoider, and it's shut down. If somebody's shut down, you can't access them. And then where do you go from there? So that there needs to be a recognition that vulnerability is part of relationship. And if you don't want to be vulnerable, then maybe don't be in a relationship.
Okay. So it's funny you say that because now I'm feeling like in my mind I go inner child. I go right back, right?
Yeah.
And as someone, and I'll speaking from myself, and I'm not going to get all delve too deep in this.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to therapy or having a therapist. Matter of fact, I find it's beneficial. I'll say that. And not because I can't talk to friends, but there are some things that I recognize that I don't care to talk to my friends about. And not because I don't trust or love them, and I do believe that they love me and only want the best for me, but they're emotionally invested.
You got it.
And sometimes I need someone to be like, Laura, shake me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Had you thought about it this way, and the other way?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. So I guess the point is it helps to talk to other people, but you know, it is hard to be vulnerable and allow that to happen.
Yeah.
But what do you do with someone who's just like, it's a safe place for them? They automatically, again, revert to their 10-year-old, because at some point in time, as a therapist told me, or mine told me, she said, it must be safer for him to be in that spot than it is to be open with you right now.
Yep. So you've said, so you asked, how do we work on this? And you said the magic words, inner child. Yeah. So inner child work, whether we call that trauma work, whether we call that parts work, whether we call that just identifying where this defense mechanism or relational stance, as Terry Real would call it, comes from, doing some work with it. And in a relationship, you can't be protected and connected at the same time.
Okay.
There
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
You have to be open.
Okay.
Or you don't.
But
there's
repercussions,
repercussions. Exactly.
Yeah. The other thing.
You got it.
So I want to touch on, if I can, with you, and again, Terrence will, but we talked about this briefly. Parts.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's a word that has come up multiple times for me.
Okay.
For my own reasons, but I would love you to
Yeah.
explain that a little bit to people,
Yeah.
because I think it's valuable,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people who
Yeah.
never heard the word, at least not in this manner.
Yeah.
So could
Yeah.
you talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about parts?
Yeah. So I think, without getting too detailed into it, there's like a simple question is, I bet there's, or what's that part of you that finds it hard to be vulnerable in this moment, right? What's that part of you that wants to be vulnerable? Because I think I just got distracted.
Yes.
So we don't. So, for using today as an example, I was excited to come today. Part of me was excited.
Yep.
Part of me was very nervous. Part of me was.
But you're awesome.
Yeah, but
I
that
see it,
exact
though.
same thing.
No.
Very rarely do we have one feeling, thought, or thought about something. So this parts work helps us go, okay, there's a part of me that wants to be vulnerable. There's a part of me that's really scared. And there's a part of me that wants things to be different in my relationship. And so then it's just easier to talk about. It's not I'm scared and I'm shut down over here. It's not that I'm totally open and I'm going to be so vulnerable that you're going to be able to really hurt me. It's not that. It's not all. It's not all or nothing.
Okay, it's just
right?
part of
It's
the
part-
whole.
It's parts of the
If
whole.
I think of a pie chart, I think in
got it.
terms of
Yeah.
slices.
Yeah.
And that's just a
Absolutely.
part of the
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So, because we're getting to that point where we're getting low on time,
Okay.
what would you recommend for work for couples to do
Yeah.
to help themselves?
Yeah. Okay.
If that's what they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, reach out to a therapist if that feels like the level they want to go to, or if they just want to try some stuff at home. Planning is vital.
Okay.
So, my husband and I don't do it every week, but most weeks we do, and we don't have kids, right? But we're still like planning. We're planning for retirement. We're planning for, to have the trees trimmed this weekend. We're planning financially. We're planning, friends, family,
Mm-hmm.
visiting, all that kind of stuff. So planning. So taking even like a 10-minute, 20-minute window over the weekend of saying, here are the financial things we have coming up. Here are the tasks we have for the household. Here are the fun things we want to do. And also using that time to also connect and say, how are we doing this week? Do you feel like you're getting what you need from me? What more might you need? I feel like I'm getting what I need from you, that kind of thing. So again, not transactional in like an ugly way, but I need X. What can I do to help you give me X, right?
Okay.
So planning is a big part. I can't think off the top of my head what.
Well, okay, but because you did a wonderful job of making a list of some things, and
Yeah.
you mentioned being intentional
Being intentional.
and active listening.
There we go. Okay, so active listening is a massive one. And I can tell that you're actively listening to me right now because you were looking at me, you were nodding, right? All that kind of stuff. So what can happen oftentimes is that I come home from work and I vent to my husband, and his go-to is problem solving. That's not what I need.
I don't want to blame that just being on men, but yeah, it's sometimes.
Well, to that point, there's 3 types of listening, and I've learned this from Terry. There's there's problem solving, which is coded masculine. That comes easier to men generally, and oftentimes can just the desire for a different kind of listening can cause an argument, right? So, and the second type of listening is coded feminine, and that's empathic listening.
Okay.
Right? So even knowing the difference between that and saying to your partner, honey, I just need 10 minutes. I'm going to vent. I don't want you to try and problem solve for me. I got this. I just need to get this out of my system. And giving parameters to it, because, we're talking in cliches, and they're cliches for a reason. If a man hears, honey, I need to talk to you, oh my God, how long is this going to be? We're going to be up till 4 a.m, right? So giving like some guidance to it. I just need 10 minutes. I'm just going to talk. You just listen.
Okay.
That's helpful. And also, it's hard to be a listener.
Okay.
It's really hard to be a listener. So saying, what do you need from me? Do you need some problem solving, or do you need some empathic response? Just know what you need, and ask and express what you need.
Does that go both ways, male, female? It doesn't matter which side. Yeah?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I believe this has been very helpful. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If someone wants to meet with you or they want more information, how do they find you? Where can we find you? Do you have contact information where we can get in touch with you?
So I'm on Psychology Today.
Okay.
And that's as you know, sort of a place that you can find therapists. I also have a website, and it's edithblock.com, and that's got my contact information there.
And also, before I let you go, Terrence Wheel,
Yeah.
or Terry Will as I know him, not that I know him personally.
Yeah. I don't either.
Yeah, but he was recommended to me years ago, and we just happened to be talking about it. But I'm going to ask you to mention him again, and specifically exactly what he does, in case people here want to look him up.
Yeah. Yes.
So can you give us just a little bit more? I mean,
Absolutely,
we're not trying to promote, but he is. I find that he's very clear.
Yes.
He's very structured and very organized.
Yeah.
He's very easy to understand.
He is,
That's why I say that.
Yeah, and you can find. So he is a man, of course, and his background is family therapy. He's done a lot of male mental health stuff. He's got a book called I Don't Want to Talk About It, which is fantastic. And he's got a number of couples books that you can look at. One's called Us. One's called.
I've read that one.
You have? Okay,
I have.
That's one. Yeah,
it's a good one. Actually.
It is good.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot in there. This adaptive child stuff,
different scenarios, things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Actually.
Yeah, he's got a website. Of course. He's also I follow him on Facebook, and he gives like little snaps, little introductions of stuff, and What I love about him is he identifies as a recovering narcissist.
Okay. All right. I did not know that. Okay.
So yeah, and yeah, his model just fits sort of my personality and what I believe in. So he does come from a theoretical stance of working within the patriarch, which we all live in. Yeah.
Okay. Again, this has been fun.
Yeah.
And I guess last but not least, is there anything else, any small bit of advice that you want people to know? Yeah. Last bit of advice before we sign off.
Very quickly, I think people tend to have their priorities upside down. And the first order of priority is self. The second order of priority is partner, relationship, and then doing those helps take care of the kids.
Okay.
Right? I think a lot of people with kids, that's their priority.
Right.
And they're not working on the relationship, they're not working on themselves.
Okay.
Which makes day-to-day stuff hard, as you know.
Yeah. I do know. I'm very aware. Okay, again, this has been amazing.
Awesome.
It has been incredibly helpful. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I know this is going to be beneficial for someone.
Yeah.
It's been very beneficial for me.
Good.
Thank you so much for spending time with us.
You're welcome.
And hopefully we can have you back again.
Anytime.
Real soon.
Anytime. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, this is Bear Speak, formerly Bear Fitness. I'm Laura Williamson, your host, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.